In recent years, of late, secularism is something that is being decried. It's fashionable or popular to criticize secularism and call it secularism and uh, call it pseudo secularism or something like that. I don't think this is a healthy thing. Uh, India is a secular country. India secularism is a fundamental, I would say, value enshrined in the constitution. So constitutionally, India is a secular country. Secularism is a part of the constitution, and most modern countries are secular, except theocratic states like Iran or the Vatican City. So secularism is a modern idea, is an enlightened idea. Most modern, advanced, developed countries are secular. That is an enlightened idea. It's a modern idea. It's a good idea. It's a civilized idea, and it it's a democratic idea. Essentially, democracy is also relatively modern and enlightened compared to the past. And democracy is about equality or equity. All citizens are equal. Everybody gets one vote. Each citizen gets to vote once, and he or she gets one vote. However powerful you are or however weak you are, you just get one vote. There is no multiplication. So all citizens are equal. They are to be treated equally. So similarly, there was this idea of separation of church and state. That's how it started. That religious matters were separated from political or public matters. And so church and state are separate. So the state or the government has got nothing to do with religion. It's a private matter of the citizens. Who follows what religion or what religion he or she should follow, the state has got nothing to do with it. And the state doesn't differentiate or discriminate based on religion. Now, there can be two ways of looking at secularism. Either you treat all religions as equally good, or you treat all religions as equally useless. Communists were also secular, but they didn't believe in religion. They would say in the USSR and all that all religions, we don't believe in religions. So for us, all religions are equally useless. Maybe we could say that, look, we respect each religion. So all religions are equally good. Whichever stand you take, the basic idea is that you don't discriminate based on religion. There is no discrimination among religions or between religions. One religion does not get a preferential treatment from the state. It doesn't enjoy any privileges, or people who follow that religion are not given any dominant this thing. They are not in a dominant position or something like that. So it is about justice, equity, and equality, which is about democracy. It is democratic. It is about democracy. So it is morally, ethically, and logically untenable simply to talk against secularism. We must be secular. Now, uh, perhaps it is true that earlier maybe there is a feeling that maybe some governments were trying to, while we have talked about secularism and we have said that we are secular, maybe there was some discrimination which was not open, but it was like there. So maybe there was preferential treatment given to a particular community, or maybe a religion, or maybe some minorities or something like that. And now we are talking about the majority getting preferential treatment. So basically both are wrong. Ideally, I mean, that should not have happened. Secularism means you don't differentiate whether it is minority or majority. Otherwise, I mean, that is not true secularism. So if somebody says that, look, you have to be truly secular, then I don't find any problems with it. But if you are simply discarding the concept of secularism itself, then I have a serious problem with that. If somebody says we are secular, but that somebody is not actually practicing secularism in the real sense, then that is wrong. And that is obviously something that must be criticized. So if some past governments have done that, they should be blamed for that. But that doesn't give the right to you to say that secularism itself is completely useless, and it should now be about majoritarianism and whatever the majority says goes. Then that is not the language of justice, that is the language of power. Might is right, anything goes. We are in majority, so we can do whatever we want. And our religion is superior because we said so, and we are in power. That's not justice or equity or fairness. That's just about power. It's not the language of an enlightened or civilized person. That's about brute force, numbers. So I do understand and sympathize with the feeling that perhaps there was some discrimination earlier of the other kind. But no discrimination should be allowed. There should be no discrimination based on religion. The state has got nothing to do with religion. Whether how many followers, it doesn't matter about which religion has more followers and which religion has fewer followers. It is immaterial. The government or the state has no business. It's a private business of the citizenry, and they should not be mixed up. And one particular religion should not be allowed to uh, get dominance or supremacy in one way or the other. That is a constitutional position, and it must be maintained. So I think it's a fundamental value. One of idea concept is a beautiful idea. It's based on democratic values. It's a value based, one of the democratic values, I would say. It's about justice, fairness, being ethical, being moral, and there is simply no. It doesn't make any sense to say that secularism is wrong. It's not. There is no objective validity to the statement that my religion is superior to yours. How do you do that? Just because you have more followers, your religion has a larger number of followers? Does that prove that your religion is superior? Is about numbers? So that doesn't make any sense. In India, maybe Hindus are in majority, but globally Hindus are not in majority. Muslims are a majority. So, I mean, these kinds of things do not make any sense. Whether it is Hindus or Muslims or Jains or Sikhs or any minority or any majority, it doesn't really matter. All religions are equal. Somebody like me would say that they are pointless, and somebody would say that they are all good, all need to be treated with respect. I would say I'm indifferent to religions or religion, and the other guy would say that, look, I treat all equally. Both positions are eventually, the outcome is the same. The outcome is you don't treat one religion as inferior or superior to the other. That's it. Story, end of story. And that is what you should truly preach and practice. And if you do that, then how can there be any argument against it? Then what is the point of this, using these words like secularism or pseudo-secularism, as if this idea or the concept itself is flawed? No, it's not flawed. If the practice was flawed, then correct that practice. Don't do that. If we said we were secular and were not actually secular, then that is wrong. I don't have a problem with that. But you can't blame the concept itself for that. The people who are in power were maybe not doing it right. That's their problem. But that doesn't justify throwing the baby out with the bathwater kind of a thing. Secularism itself is a fundamental concept, fundamentally pure and good concept, and we must not make fun of it or throw it out or discard it. It must be respected. It is a useful, it's a beautiful, useful thing. It shows a civilized civilization of humanity, development and enlightenment of humanity. Like ahimsa or non-violence is a beautiful idea. It shows that mankind is a bit different. Though we are animals, we are better than the other animals. We have this idea of non-violence. Animals don't understand non-violence, right? They don't think about the morality or the ethical implications of violence. So similarity, secularism is also a great idea, a great moral good or a moral value which must be cherished. And any differentiation or discrimination is simply bad and should not be allowed. And there should be true justice, true equity, true equality. Nobody should be pampered, nobody should be appeased, and nobody should feel superior to the other. That now we are in power, so we can call the shots, and somebody is a second class citizen, or earlier we were second class citizens, and now that just doesn't work. US abolished slavery. It took one of the finest presidents, and he had to fight a war, Abraham Lincoln, to do that. Now you can't. That idea is done. It's a medieval idea, slavery. You don't talk about it. So are we going to? We don't. Apartheid is finished, dispensed with. Nelson Mandela following Gandhian principles. So apartheid was wrong, was discarded. Racism is bad. Hitler did that. Genocide is wrong. Apartheid is wrong. Racism is wrong. Slavery is wrong. So all these things are wrong. And secularism is good. Otherwise, we are going back to the idea of slavery or racism or something or that sort, based on caste or color or creed or whatever you call it. So we have moved away from that. Let's not go back to the Middle Ages. Thank you.